So as you are looking, topic is what about liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Liberalization, privatization, and globalization. About this, we will be understanding in this lecture in this slide. So first of all, importance of each this word are more important. Okay, and especially this will be compulsory to understand to understanding to your understanding. Okay, so in details we will understand about it. Let's continue. Let's get started. What is liberalization? What is liberalization? What is privatization? And what is globalization? Liberalization, privatization, and globalization. About this word, what happens? What do we mean by this word? We will understand step by step. There is a consensus in the world today that economic development is not all, and the GDP is not necessarily a measure of progress of a society. Means there is a consensus only. Okay, there is a consensus. Okay, consensus. There is only consensus in the world. What economy is not all. Okay, GDP is not a necessary measure of a progress of a society. So this is a consensus in the world, but there is no point. There is no such point. What economy is not all. We can say economy that connects with GDP with a nation. And economy helps India. Economy helps a nation a lot of. Okay. So in the context of liberalization, privatization, globalization, we are not talking about right now. Just we are understanding about the GDP, about the economic development. Okay. Since independence, because about this we had discussed in back lecture. So here there are some points to understand. Is important to understand. Since independence, India followed the mixed economy. Yeah, this is right. India is what? Mixed economy, and from independence India is mixed economy, and this is mentioned in 5-year plans. And India regularly followed the mixed economy. India followed the mixed economy framework by combining the advantage of both capitalist and socialist economic system. These are two compulsory in 5-year plans and in economic plan for a nation. So there should be mention about development of capitalist economy and also socialist economy, which will connect development with economy, and other side social development as you say. Okay, so these two types of economy will link, and that will show what you can say increasing GDP. So this is compulsory to mention about capitalist and socialist in economic plan. Okay. So what is the definition of mixed economy? This is a definition. Our our country is not a capitalist economy. Okay, our country is not a socialist economy system. Our country is both system, a capitalist and other side socialist system. Because our leaders had thought what as society development is necessary in our country, in a nation, in each nation. But here our point is, in the context of India country, there will be compulsory to understand, to know, to development what society development. In other side there is a said what economic development, society development, you can say socialist economy. Okay, socialist economy that will be related to society development, whereas economic capitalist, okay, the work of this is in different work as compared to socialist economic system. Work of socialist economic system will be different as compared to capitalist economy. So these are two compulsory, these are two important. And when we accept both economy that are what capitalist society, so it there will be known as what mixed economy. And today, because we were necessary, we needed what both economic system. That's why our leaders of India planned, mentioned both this economic system. Okay, this policy resulted in the establishment of various rules and laws which were aimed at controlling and regulating the economy. Became major hindrance, in other word it is known as what barriers, became major barriers in growth and development of the economy. So this policy resulted in the establishment of various rules and which controlling, and whatever policies are made, so policy will result what policy will control to people, to public, whereas through policy, that is known as in document word rules and regulation. So policies is compulsory, that establishment on various rules and laws. When policies are made, so rules and laws are included. Without this, we can say there will be impossible to apply policies among people. So here so policy almost controls public. So that's why policy are made in parliament, you can say, by government. Became major hindrance, barriers in growth and development of the economy. So this was not our point in this lecture, but little information we need. Okay, we needed liberalization. Liberalization, it refers to the removal or reduction of government controls and restriction from various sectors of the economy. So meaning of this word is simple. Okay, I am saying meaning of liberalization is simple. How? Means whatever are controlled by the government, by the government authorities, you can say, by the government institutions. So when to liberalize in a nation, so it means what controls of a government will be removed by liberalization, by liberalization. Okay, so aim of this, you can say work of this, what this liberalization will remove controls of a government. Okay, so in each country there are what, there are governments, and now here through our perspective, there need to understand what this will be compulsory to liberalize in a nation. And here I would say what, yes, this will be compulsory. Let's understand how to liberalize in a country, why will be compulsory. Okay, what will be important? First of all, to liberalize this liberalization, by liberalization, in some work will be removed by liberalization. Okay, in some work. And what are those work, we will say here given. And whereas there should be work of government work, that are works that are what worked by the government. If normal people can say, then why government will be made? Okay, will be made. So and here example I would add on, example of work of government, what, infrastructure, such as for example infrastructure. So normal person cannot do or to make infrastructure in a nation, you can say in a area. And work of infrastructure will be, infrastructure will work who? Government will work. So here government will be responsible about infrastructure, about making of infrastructure. That's why in some cases to liberalize is compulsory, but not in all work. In all cases there will be compulsory, not where there are need to liberalize. So this is option to liberalization in a nation. It refers to the removal or reduction of the government controls and restrictions. You can say you are running your shopkeeper, and here there will be restriction by the government. Okay, you can say you after one month to month you need to pay what extra money by the government. So here that is what barrier by the government. And here when there is applied what liberalization, so this barrier will be removed by liberalization. So this is not necessary, this was not necessary. Okay, already there are paid tax by the public to government. So why in extra are need to pay money to government? This is a just example to understand, you can understand. Okay, restriction. We were understanding here just what about restrictions. Let's understand more about restriction. Controls already you know, whatever are controlled by the government, such as services, for example services, defense, education. In the matter of education, so our government will take decision, not a person. If a simple person can raise to their voice, and here public will be responsible, public will answer to question of a public. Let's understand about controls. Okay, controls we are got it, and restrictions. restrictions. Where are done restrictions in work, okay, in work of a person, where are not necessary to restrictions, okay. So in the case our liberalization will come. So here given after given words, let's understand restrictions from various sectors of the economy like industrial sector, financial sector, physical reforms, foreign exchange markets and trade investment sectors for making the economy more competitive. In industrial sector, they before liberalization in India, in industrial sector are controlled by the government. Financial sector, today government are controlling the financial sector, but not completely, we can say, okay. Private financial sector cannot be controlled by the government, because private ownership of private financial sector will be private person, okay. So these are example to understand what industrial sector before apply the liberalization in India, and the industrial sector are controlled by the government. Physical sector, whereas physical reforms, foreign exchange markets, and in matter of in the regarding of trade and traveling, there are restrictions to travel from one place to another place, from one country to another country, you can say, okay. So here there are there were removed restrictions in the context of trading and investment sectors for making. So why in this sector are compulsory to restrictions for making the economy. Industrial sector, who are ownership of private companies. So here why government will control the private industrial sector? No, government can take tax from industrial sector, from private industrial sector. This is compulsory, because private industrial sector is working in the government area, so it will be compulsory to pay tax to government, okay. So my point is what in this matter there are not two restrictions, okay, because of if there are done restriction, then economy, how will economy increase, okay, how will economy make more competitive? Where are necessary to restrictions, there can be done restrictions. Need for liberalization. Prior to 1991, there were large number of government restrictions. Before the 1991, but today in our country there is liberalization. Before the 1991, there were a lot of restrictions in some cases, in some work. There were large number of government restrictions on the entry and growth of private enterprises, especially in the matter of private, in the field of private, there should not be controlled by the government, because here private entrepreneurship can be controlled by the private person who are owner of their entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship. Okay, so here there should not involve government in matter of a private. Here private companies will pay tax. There is a work to private companies, but private companies will pay tax to government. This will be compulsory. In this matter government can be involved. So prior, you can say before this time there were a large number of government restrictions. So here my point is clear, but where are necessary to restrictions, so should be apply restrictions word. But whereas there are in some places there are not necessary to apply restrictions, so why should there be done restrictions by the government? In unnecessary restrictions can be applied, then it will stop to increase economy, you can say, because we are discussing in the context of economy. So in unnecessary point, in an unnecessary field, there will be applied what restrictions, then it will absolutely stop. Okay, it will stop to economic, to GDP of a nation. Liberalization was introduced to put an end to these restrictions and open various sectors of the economy. So benefit of liberalization is what? This liberalization will remove to all restrictions that are stopped by the restriction to grow the economy or GDP for a nation. So those restrictions will be removed by the liberalization. And today, as you can see, what there are not restrictions. There are not a large number of government restrictions. Where there are restrictions, where are compulsory. Okay. So this was introduced to put an end to these restrictions and open various sectors of the economy. So this liberalization will open the various waves to the economy, to growth of the economy. Deregulation industrial sector. Before 1991, this time is the same. Before now, especially about industrial sector we are talking. Before 1991, the industries were regulated in various ways. You are looking, industries were regulated in various ways before, and now we will realize what barriers in what had industries barriers. Industrial licensing was compulsory to start a firm. Here I would say what my perspective will be what in this matter. Industrial licensing should have a license to start a firm, but in some cases, not in completely industrial. We will understand with example. Let's I tell you with example. In medicine, there are compulsory to restrictions, to apply restrictions. There is compulsory. There must be applied by the government. There must be applied restriction by the government in the field of medicine, in the field of hospital, in the field of healthcare. Whereas there are some sectors where are compulsory to apply restrictions, as I am saying you. So industrial licensing was compulsory to start a firm, close a firm, or to expand or diversifying production. So in this work, industrial was compulsory to have a license to run their business, their industrial sector. About this, we will continue in this discussion. About deregulation industrial sector we will be understanding in the next slide. And here I would say, but apart from this, whatever will come in the next slide, we will discuss with the full information. We will understand in details. So from here till here, I hope we are clear. And let's see what happens in the next slide. Whatever will come, then we will understand. This is next slide. Let's continue it. In previous slide we were discussing about liberalization and deregulation industrial sector. About it we need to continue. So private sector was not allowed in many industries. Prior to 1991, this was a time when private sector was not allowed in many sectors. Okay, so this is not necessary. You can understand. Is this necessary to apply restrictions in this matter? Private sector don't go in many industries. Why not go? Okay, why can't go? Some goods were reserved only for a small scale industries. Some goods. There was control on price fixation and distribution of certain selected industrial products. Means here there was control on fixation. Means you can say, for example, there was controlled on price fixation. Okay, and whereas distribution of certain, there was also on distribution of a certain industrial product. Means wo product where will go. Okay, what product where will go in this, in any sections, in any category. So there was control in different way. Okay, as you are looking, what there was control on price fixation, whereas there was control on distribution of certain selected industrial product. So here there is selected what products. So in business field, is this necessary to select products to sell in market? Customer will select. Am I right? So customer, whatever customer wants, so customer will select and customer will purchase. So here who are government to select industrial product. A reduction in industrial licensing. Okay, so here when in industrial field there was applied more license in industrial sector. So here we will understand what reduction in industrial licensing. Industrial licensing was abolished for almost all product. Whatever we are looking problems. So here there was control on price fixation. In this matter, control on price fixation was abolished. When liberalization comes into picture, then in unnecessary field there are reduced, there are removed barrier. So when liberalization came into picture, then industrial licensing was abolished for almost all products. whatever we are looking here, there was control on distribution of a certain selected industrial products. Except alcohol, cigarettes, hazardous chemicals, electronic, aerospace, drugs, and pharmaceuticals. What is it said? Pharmaceuticals. I don't know the pronunciation of this word. So except alcohol, cigarettes, whatever you are looking, because these are dangerous. Okay, these are dangerous for a citizen, for a man. So in this field there are compulsory to apply what restrictions. Person who are working in this matter, so the same person should have license in this field. Owner of you can say alcohol shop, owner of cigarettes or cigarette industries. So the owner of cigarette industries should have license. Then the same person can run to their shop of cigarettes. So here we are looking where there are unnecessary unnecessary licensing. There are unnecessary licensing. In that case, industrial licensing was reduced, was removed, was abolished. But there was condition. Except in this field, there will not be abolished a license, industrial license. Financial sector includes financial institutions such as commercial. So in details we are talking now about restrictions and about prior to 1991, what were our restrictions in industrial, in financial sector. About this we will understand, we will look, whereas what have solved by liberalization. So about that we will understand. Financial sector includes financial institutions such as commercial banks, investment banks, stock exchange operation, and foreign exchange market. In this field there are considered what about money. Okay, so here we are looking what about money. Yeah, money are transferred by this bank. Money are made investment in investment banks. So in this matter, let's understand the problem. Okay. So first of all, we are clear what these are financial institution. These are financial institution. Now anybody will ask you what are financial institutions, what happens to financial sector. Then we can say what a financial sector that should be related to financials, related to payment, related to money. Means sector are working related to money. Okay, sectors. So for example, investment bank. Okay, so investment bank, there are made what investment. There are money are made investment in investment bank. Whereas in banks, people go to deposit their money. So money of people are safe in with the bank. Whereas here through interest, when depositor gets what interest, whereas what borrower person pay what interest. Means here bank charge interest from borrower. So here in this process banks earn money. So this is not our question, our point. Our point is what to understand the restrictions in financial sector. First of all, we need to clear these are financial sector. In commercial banks, where are what related to business, investment, where are made money, made investment money, stock exchange operation and foreign exchange market. The RBI and the RBI is at a high, you can say RBI determines RBI controls the all bankers in India country. The RBI decides the amount of money that the banks can keep with themselves. So RBI will decide, okay, not bankers will decide how many money needed to keep with themselves. So RBI will decide first of all, because of, as you know, RBI decides the amount of money that the banks can keep with themselves, fixed interest rates, nature of lending to various sectors. So here now, according to need, in some cases RBI role of RBI is compulsory, and role of RBI plays role important role. So in some cases to be RBI is compulsory, because here in the context of this is in the context of payment, okay, not a small payment. Tax reforms. Through tax infrastructures are made by the permission of a government. Public pay tax to government. Each person pay tax to the government. Through this tax, in India country, in a country, there are developed in a nation. So through taxes there is possible. Without taxes there is not possible to run a country, to develop a country. So role of a tax come in a nation, come in GDP and come in economy. Tax reforms of tax reforms are concerned with the reforms in government's taxation and public expenditure policies. Government's taxation and public expenditure policies are collectively known as its fiscal policy. It is related to tax reforms. Okay. The tax reforms are concerned with the reforms in the government taxation and public expenditure policies. This is policies and public expenditure. Now, now you can understand, public expenditure means taxes will be used for public expenditure, for making public expenditure. That's why policies were made. That is known as what public expenditure policies. Yeah, am I right? And whereas government taxation and public expenditure policies are collectively known as both, when we link both, one side government taxation and other side public expenditure policies. When we link both, then it is known as what fiscal policy. Okay, already public expenditure, it's policies, and whereas government taxation, when we link both this, then it is known as what fiscal policies. Okay, direct taxes. So here confirm Here role of two person will come. Who are person? First of all, government. Second, public expenditure. So here government's taxation means here public are paying taxes to government. That is known as government taxation. Now government will have tax. Now government will have what payment of public. So between this there are huge difference as we can say. So here whatever are paid taxes by public, so government will have taxes of public. And other side there was made policies, that is what public expenditure policies. So this is evidence, this is a proof in the parliament for a nation. Here government role of a government will come in the expendence on public materials. Okay, role of a government will come on expenditure of public materials. So through taxes, work of this will be possible through taxes. That's why taxes are paid to government, so that any one nation can be developed. Direct taxes consist of taxes on incomes of individuals, direct taxes, as well as the profits of business enterprises. So here direct taxes that are considered into two types, such as direct tax and second is indirect tax. Okay, when we pay tax direct, then it will be known as a direct tax, whereas when we pay indirect way, okay, let's understand through example. Here there is a job person that are working in field of government. So here this will be said what government job. And here government this type of job person will pay tax direct to government. And now about indirect tax. When we go to the hotel, when we go in other country, on other place, so when we go to restaurant, okay, shopkeeper, about shopkeeper let's understand. Shopkeeper, stationery. When we go to purchase books, okay, books, here we pay money. We pay money to stationery shop person. So here this person is not responsible for taxes. I am paying money, and in this money will be what include tax. Already will be include tax. Okay, here I am paying to a stationery shop for purchasing books. Now this stationery shop will pay to another person. Okay, then this process will be what indirect way. Taxes are paid to the government. This is a definition of indirect taxes. Okay, clear. Direct taxes consist of taxes on incomes of individuals as well as profits of business enterprises. And here private about private taxes can be understood here. How our private sector work in a nation, then here there will be compulsory what here private sector will pay tax to the government in this case. So here private sector will pay tax direct to the government, am I right? Here department of government will come to the private sector to take taxes. The burden of such taxes cannot be saved. For example, income tax, wealth tax, corporate tax, it is okay, cannot be saved. Income tax, wealth tax, corporate tax. Indirect tax are the taxes implement on commodities and services. For example, I am teaching you, so here when you pay money, then you will pay money, and now I will use this money to purchase something. Through this way, this money will go to the government as a tax. The burden of these taxes can be shifted to the consumers. GST, value added tax, that is said in short what VAT, value added tax, GST. Almost in slip we see what GST rate, GST rupees. Okay, GSTs are fixed by the government. So here the burden of this taxes can be shifted to the government. So here to the consumer who are consuming to the commodities, to the service. So here this is a burden, you can say, but here in direct way these taxes will be collected. So the burden of these taxes can be shifted to the consumers, whereas the burden of such taxes cannot be shifted. Okay, means income tax, wealth tax, corporate tax will be paid direct to the government. Okay, whereas in direct taxes these taxes would be shifted to the consumers. For example, you can see. So from here till here we are clear, and apart from this, whatever will come in the next slide, we will be discussing with full information, and we will understand about in the next apart from this, whatever will come, then in details we will understand, we will discuss. Let's see what happens in the next slide. Whatever will come, then we will discuss. Next slide. This is next slide. Let's continue it. Reduction traffic rates. It is linked with what taxes. So in details, let's understand about it. Export. I know you know about export. Export, that is compulsory for a nation, and when in a nation, within a nation, there would be done export more, then it will be more important, it will be more useful for a nation. Whereas import would be done more, then it will be liabilities rather than asset. So export duties have been removed to increase the competitive position of India goods in the international markets, and import duties have also been reduced. Okay, import duties have also been reduced, and export duties have been removed to increase to increase, okay, the competitive position of India goods in the international market, and import duties have also been reduced. We are talking about traffic, okay, traffic that is known as also what taxes. In the past time it is said what traffic is said to taxes. And when in a nation within a country, when person to export then they are needed to pay taxes to export, whereas also to import. So here traffic, this barrier was coming between export and import, okay, exporting and importing. So this traffic was removed, okay, was reduced. So here there are clear word about removed traffic, about reduced traffic. Export duties have been removed to increase the competitive position of India goods in the international market, because export and import are done in international markets. So here to export to import there are not a need to pay taxes, okay, there are not need. So here that's why traffic were reduced, was reduced, okay. So in this sentence there is one point to understand when we discuss about export and import, in our mind about this word, about this understanding will come. Means when in a country, within a country do export, within a country people export. Now let's understand about export and about import, okay. Export means what? Within a nation there are done what? Import. There are imported, okay, there are imported within a country. After this complete, these materials are sold in other country. That will be known as export. Means from export means what? From a nation, from our nation we are selling to other nation, in other nation. So this process will be known as export. Whereas when we are purchasing materials from other nation, because we will be using what materials of other nation, that is that have what imported in other nation. So here when we use materials of other nation to purchase, then what it is said import. That's why there are said more times what? To export more times, to export more is an asset for a nation, whereas to import more there is a liabilities. There is a burden for a country. Here I am using more, okay. Less import, it will be sufficient, okay, but more import it will not be sufficient, it will be burden for a country. And whereas more export, that will be what? More useful for a nation, that will be asset. Privatization. Now we are moving to next, privatization. About liberalization we discussed. Now that is the second, privatization. Then after this we will be understanding about globalization. About little information of globalization we now, but in details we will be discussing about globalization. So first of all let's understand about privatization. Privatization means in hand of private companies, as we know. So in such as such point about privatization we know. It implies the ceding of the ownership or management of a government owned enterprise and its transfer to the private sector. Whatever ownership of services, ownership of materials were owned by the government, were controlled by the government, when it is transferred to the private sector, that is known as privatization. We listen what sometimes we listen sometimes what our government done privatization. So meaning of this is what? Meaning of this is means ownership, means asset of government are given to the private, and this process that is known as, in a word, what? Privatization. Here we can say in simple word, we can define the word what? Privatization, where ownership of assets, ownership of services, ownership of resources were government were ownership of assets and resources and materials and services. So when government wants to transform these resources to their resources to private sector, then it is said privatization. So now material of government will be material. So here privatization person will have material of government. Privatization can be done into two ways. Let's say by withdrawal of the government from ownership and management of public sector companies. Okay, that is said what? Disinvestment. By outright sale of public scale companies, that is said complete privatization. Here in a way of disinvestment, our government will transfer to their services to investment. Okay, by withdrawal of the government from ownership, by withdrawal of the government from ownership and management of a public sector. Yes, when government government will have payment of private sector, then here private sector will do one thing. What? Private sector will say what? I need money, my payment. Okay, my payment I need. So here government will say what? Okay, until we will pay to your money, you can use to our products. So as that is investment. Okay, so here public sector will be used, public materials will be used by private person. Whereas in other way, by outright sale of public sector companies, means by outright means in other side resources, materials are sold to the private sector, that will be known as complete privatization. Here there is a half of privatization, when until government will pay money to money of private person, then private person will use the assets, the resources of a government. Whereas here you can see when government sold public sector public materials to private, then it will be privatization. Purpose of a privatization. What are purpose? What are purpose? Okay, of a privatization. Why is it necessary to privatization? To be privatization. Improve financial discipline and facilitate modernization. This is a purpose. Okay. More information about a purpose of a privatization I don't know, but in a sentence there is a being said what to improve financial discipline and facilitate modernization. Means here this is saying if government are not paying to money of private companies, then obviously private companies will think what to take to their money. So if discipline will be unbalanced between in a financial sector, in financial matter, then it will not be better to a nation. You can relate this with a normal person. When we have money to another person, then we are not paying for a long term. So and money of so the same person who money from where from person I took money person who where when I took money from this person, this is saying for a long time and I am not paying for a long time. Okay, and this is a continue for a long time. So this behavior will be what unchanged. This behavior will be unbalanced. Okay, and this will be continue. Then in one day the issue will be bigger. So discipline in financial field, discipline should be in financial field. Now let's move to next, globalization. Definition of globalization is we are traveling from one place to another place. There is no barrier. Okay, and we are using materials from other nation. There are not barrier. So here there are not barrier. We are accessing to materials from other places, and we can move from one place to another place. We can work in abroad city, abroad countries. That is known as what globalization. Okay, we are using people can come in our country, we can go in other country, we can work in other country, other people of other country can work in our country. Okay, so this is globalization. When there is no barrier, there is no restrictions, there is no tax to this work, then there is not paid for the globalization. Globalization, which means integrating the economy, and through globalization a nation growth of a nation increase rapidly. Globalization, which means integrating the economy of the country with the world economy through removal of barriers and international trade and capital movements. And technology are most used in a nation from one country to another country. Let's suppose through example of a technology can be understood how we are using technology, but some technology we are using to other person. Okay, other person means person who are in other country. So we have technology of America country, so there is globalization. That's why there is no barrier. Whereas in our country technology are made, and technology are using our technology of India are using in other nation, are being used in other nation. So this so what helps through this helping a nation can be developed. Okay, a nation can be developed, and then gradually all 1 2 3 country will be developed. It is a complex phenomenon. Okay, it is a complex phenomenon, but it is better. It helps to the people, to the more people. Okay, today we are we have access to a lot of things, to access technology, better technology, and through technology we have work. Okay, we can work in multiple productivity. So there are not barrier, there are open way, there are a lot of source to work. That is the third word, globalization. Effects of globalization on public. Okay, globalization implies turning the world into a whole or creating a borderless world. Let's understand what are effects of globalization on people, among people. Positive effects. These are positive effects. Globalization resulted in greater access to global markets. We use a lot of products where are made in other country. So products of other country we are using today. So this is access. Is this not access? This is access. And whereas high technology, more technology we are using technology in our work, in any field technology are being used. Okay, increased possibility of large industries of developing countries to become important players in the international area. Now industries will have industries will go to the other country to work, to run their nation and their business, and any industries want to spread to their business. So here there is access to open their business in other country. Okay, if their business is at high level, depend on business, what are business. Okay, what are industries. So this is positive effects. Apart from this, whatever will come in next slide, we will be discussing with full information and details we will understand. So let's see what happens, whatever will come, then with confidently slide, let's understand about it, and let's continue it. In this slide we will discuss about WTA, that is said what World Trade Organization. Okay, slowly we will understand. Okay, with full information. WTA, it was founded in 1995. This was the time when the World Trade Organization was founded, and here we are looking word trade word we are looking. And I remember what in multiple back lecture about little information about WTA we had discussed. Okay, in this slide you are looking what here in this slide were discussed more with more information. So it was founded in 1995. Am I right? Yeah. It was founded in 1995. And whereas WTO, World Trade Organization, means to trade at a global level, means among countries, whereas this is organization. WTO, that is the organization. It rules among countries. It will determine what is right, what is wrong, and rules and regulations by organization, by WTO, World Trade Organization. So government countries will obey. And here we will see what rules and regulations in the regarding of trade. This was founded in 1995 as the successor organization to the General Agreement on Trade and Traffic. In short, it is said what GATT. Okay. GATT was established in 1948. GATT was established in 1948, but WTO it came in 1995. So this was established in 1948 with 23 countries, because this organization will rule on countries, so there should be involved countries is compulsory. So with the 23 countries as the global trade organization, means you can say for an example 23 countries there is established. Okay, there are established how many countries? 23 countries. Now World Trade Organization will be able to rule on 23 countries. 23 countries will obey to rules and regulations of WTO. Okay, WTO will take a decision, and aims of WTO will be what to remove a barrier. Okay, to remove barrier. There should not be any barrier. There should not be any difficult. Okay. So okay. To administer all multilateral trade agreements by providing equal opportunity to all countries in the international market for trading purpose. There are 23 countries, and 23 countries have opportunity, and there will be what equal opportunity. There will not be any discrimination with 23 countries. Okay, among 23 countries. So I am saying whatever are made places, you can say whatever are made rules and regulations, so it will be applied on 23 countries, among 23 countries, and 23 countries will obey, and opportunity will be provided by the WTO. Equal opportunity will be provided by the WTO to 23 organization, to 23 countries. Okay, to all countries in the international market for trading purpose. So purpose is this organization is made in the purpose of trading. People of countries are traveling from their places into other places. So here in this process there should not be any barrier. So this point so WTO, World Trade Organization, will have this point, to remove barriers between two countries. Whatever are provided to a countries, so this same materials will be provided all countries. Functions of a WTO to enlarge production and trade of a service. So work of WTO is production should be at a large level, whereas trade of a service through trading services can be provided to protect the environment. Here with together 23 countries with together 423 countries can be decision in a place that is World Trade Organization. 423 countries, not only one countries, and through these 23 countries production can be produced more at more level, and services will be provided at more level. So from this helping countries will be developed automatically, and here WTO will keep eyes on 23 countries. Okay, Indian economy during reforms. So let's understand about it. The growth of GDP increased from 5.6% during 1998 to 1991. Okay. Uh, to 8.2% during the reforms period. So this increased. Okay. So the growth of agriculture has declined. The growth of the service sector has gone up. Okay. So what is this saying? This indicates that this growth is mainly driven by growth in the service sector. Okay. Means in primary sector, what growth of primary sector was not there in the period, in the reform period. So growth of primary sector was not there. So this data is showing what service sector have increased. India is seen as a successful exporter of auto parts, engineering goods, IT software, and textiles in the reform period. So exporter. So India is seen, okay, exporter. Here we are importing, okay, importing materials, and then after this complete, we will export. Am I right? So in this time, during reforms, so here role of export will be give more importance in a country, so that goods materials, okay, would be what produce more. Rising price have also been kept under control. Prices of goods will be extreme high, then who will purchase? Yeah, prices should be in control. Okay, according to purchasing power, prices of a material would be should be fixed. Growth and employment. Though the GDP growth rates has increased in the reform period, scholars point out that the reforms-led growth has not generated sufficient employment opportunity in the country other than the service sector. This is known as jobless growth. In this time, we can understand what in this time India economy had jobless growth. Okay. So that's all we understood. From here till here we are clear. That's all.